Bomac answers the $1 million question. What does he feel about Jaron Boots Ennis sparring with Baby, you want Baby? I know that Canelo Alvarez. In this video, I'm going to let you hear it. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the dead homies. And we're going to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, shout out to everybody who supports. The real know what it is. The best in the business, and it's not even close. I got your super thanks. I got your super chats. I got your cash apps. Your boy is working. We working. So if you want to support, keep doing it. I'm not going to let y'all down. Now, I just watched an interview with longtime Terence Crawford trainer, Bomac, and they're trying to promote the fight. I'm going to go on a rant before we get into today's video because I come from a lot of backgrounds. I'm a master of a lot of different skills. Photoshop, video editing, working on my audio engineering, acting, editing, the whole bag. And then boxing, women. I know a little bit about everything, right? So in this ring interview, it is bloody terrible. Horrible. It's a I had to turn it off. I did get the part with the boots, then I had to turn it off, bro. Let me explain, because I know some of y'all bud buddies, the crybaby. Oh, Ego, you hate it. Oh, right. The reason why I'm saying it's a terrible interview, for one, Bomac, he's just unfiltered. He just keep cussing. Like, that's not a good interview to me when a person can't articulate themselves without Phil Florin, Phil, F this, muff, da. But I don't have a problem with cussing. I don't care if people cuss. But when your whole sentence is just wah, beh, muff, da, wah. You know what I'm saying? It just gets old. Like, I'm trying to hear like technical breakdown on the fight, and then Bomac's like, I don't with you. You little stupid. I ain't with. Like, it sound like an explicit rap song. So that's one. That's just a little sidebar. And there's a lot of these young fighters like Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn. They can't go on live without a bunch of cussing and stuff like that. Listen, this is why YouTubers keep reigning supreme, because I can't speak for everybody. I'm sure there's some bad apples and bad actors or whatever. But notice I can keep the conversation flowing. I don't have to cuss. I can actually have statements and sentences without it being fragmented, without stuttering, right? Without cussing. I don't have to do that, right? So people got to work on their PR game and work on their long range game of, you're talking to a broad audience, you know what I mean? So when you don't know how to formulate sentences without a bunch of cussing, you're not going to reach the masses in the same way. So that's one thing. But aside from that, because I don't want to spend too much time on that. I know. The production was terrible. Bro, they are treating this Canelo Crawford fight like a Tubi movie. Like, this is like a Tubi fight. Bro, this is straight up Tubi. Like, they keep putting out like AI cartoony graphics and like graphic designs. I don't know who's making them. A lot of them look terrible. Like, look at this, bro. Like, what is that? What is that? They got Crawford. Their heads are clearly superimposed on the body. They playing roulette or something. You ever play roulette? On occasion. Well, here's a little word of advice. Always bet on black. Right? That graphic is trash. It looks horrible. The undercard's horrible. They are not treating this like the super fight they're saying it is. Once in a lifetime. So I told you I was going to rant. So we're going to keep going. But this particular interview, we're going to play it in a second. But it's just Tubi style. It's like straight Tubi quality. the man Bomac is getting chopped, he's getting a haircut, and all you hear is predominantly clippers and then Bomac cussing. So it's like you can't even really enjoy the interview. So it's like from the production side, and again, I do this, so I understand. You see my videos be fly. I'm a one-man army. I don't got no team. I don't got no assistance, no help. And my video, look at my quality. Bow, bow, bow. Bro, you can see my fingerprint. Stop talking. Stop playing with me, bro. Right? My audio sounds crisp. My videos look crisp. The quality I'm giving you is consistent. They got this man in a barbershop asking him questions. His audio levels are very quiet. And you got the barber chopping him, pause, and cutting his hair, and you could just hear hella clippers. You know what I mean? So it's like distracting. I'm really trying to embrace the fight for the channel and see what I need to hear. And you got this clipper junk going on in the background. And I feel like that's just, if this is such a big fight, you got to get a better production team instead of doing the interview. You got to know. Like my dad always told me this. My dad is a mechanic. Use the right tools for the right job, right? So you got to know what microphones to use in order to achieve the best sound, right? So to me, they didn't use the right mic. They used like a lapel lavalier mic. They probably put it underneath the cape, the barbershop cape. So it's very muffled just because it's covered, right? And on top of that, that's the wrong style of mic. When the clipper is right next to the mic, you're going to keep hearing that buzz with the Andes or the walls or whatever the barber's using. So I had a tough time even like getting through the portion to get to today's video. Ego rant over. Now, Bomac did speak on the Boots sparring. I mean, he didn't really say much, but we will get into that. I will cue up the clip. I mean, you be the judge and tell me if this is some game-changing stuff. So he was basically asked about Canelo sparring with Boots. This is what he had to say. Roll the clip.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a fuck about all that shit. Because the workouts and those sparring partners, all that shit don't mean nothing when you step in that fucking ring. All that shit goes to the wayside.
That's why I wanted to follow up with the Boots question. I know you saw him sparring with Boots. Give me your initial response to that.
And like, who do they get to interview? The man was just talking about how sparring and like who you're sparring with. I don't give a F that. He's like, it don't really effing matter. None of that ish matter when you get in the ring. And then the follow-up question was about Boots sparring. Hey, what do you think about Boots sparring? Kind of just told you. He kind of just told you he don't care about that because at the end of the day, it's going to be two people in the ring, Canelo and Crawford. So he not tripping off that. So you can see why, to me, this is not a good interview. The quality is terrible, as you can hear the and a nagging clipper in the background. But beyond that, Bomac, like, some people are good interviews and a wealth of information, but the way Bomac is doing it, he's just like, I don't care. I don't give a F. None of that matters. Nobody's bud. You'll hear.
Sparring with Boots. Give me your initial response.
That don't mean shit, man. That don't mean shit. That don't mean nothing, man. Boots ain't no Crawford.
That's right. A lot of people feel like he brought in Boots for the psychological warfare, but also because he's a switch hitter. And they're saying that Canelo's really taking it seriously because he's bringing in a guy like Boots.
Yo, hey, like I said, that don't mean, all that shit don't mean nothing. That shit ain't gonna help him. He should have just got the last cab driver he just fought.
Like, bro, what is this? That ish don't help him. So now, bro, the Bud team, I'm telling you, something seems off. They seem very vexed with the fact that Canelo is sparring Boots. Like, it's like super negative. And when you listen to the Bud Buddies depict it, they're really making it sound like sparring Boots is somehow a negative thing. And I'm not saying you have to like do some jumping jacks and praise him, but the way they're saying it and how expressive and angry they sound when they're talking about it, they're making it almost sound like to spar Boots is the worst thing that he could have done. So, like I said in my last video, this looks like panic. Like they're hitting the panic button. They're pushing the red button. Y'all wish I was front, not George Bush the button, right? This looked like pure panic from the Bud Buddies, right? We'll see what happens September 13th, but this looks weird. There's no one that can convince me sparring a young 28-year-old phenom and talented fighter who has hunger, comes from a fight town, bigger than Canelo, bigger than Bud, switch hitter, and has some good ring IQ, and he sparred with his brother. You can't tell me that this is just like a terrible thing. And then you listen to Bomac, he's like, I don't care. I don't care. F that. Who cares? Who gives a wah. And then he said, Canelo, that ish ain't going to help him. He should have just sparred the cab driver that he just fought. So who Canelo just fought was William School. So you really believe the William School fight was very negative. No one really liked it, right? So do you see how dumb what he's saying sounds? He literally is saying you should have sparred the cab driver rather than spar Boots. So it's like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't understand why this Boots fight and sparring or whatever with Canelo got people in their feelings like this, right? So you could say the same thing for Terence Crawford. So why you sparring with Lester Martinez? Who cares? It ain't gonna help, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, so what's the point of sparring then? Why do fighters do it? If it's not gonna help you, and you might as well spar a taxi driver, whatever, a cab driver, whatever he just said, then why do any fighters spar? So they sound salty and very sour grapes that this Canelo and Boots sparring occurred.
You should have just got the last cab driver he just fought. Cause that shit that don't mean nothing, man. All that shit don't mean nothing. You ain't no Bud Crawford. They don't have that mentality. Having that mentality and going upside your head at the same motherfucking time, shit, man. I don't give a fuck about all that shit, dog.
So you're going up against Canelo.
I don't know. This is beyond me. This sounds very weird. So why is Boots training for his fight? Why is Canelo training for his fight? Why is Bud Crawford training for his fight? If none of this stuff matters, like it was just like, it don't matter who you spar, it don't matter what you do. You're making it sound like Crawford's invincible, and he's like, hey, they ain't Bud. Okay, but see, my thing is this: if you have an argument, a lot of times there's going to be a flip side to that argument, right? So you're saying none of these dudes that you could possibly spar are Terence Crawford. I can agree to that. Crawford's a unique fighter. He has unique skills. But then the same could be said on the flip side. Crawford has never fought a guy quite like Canelo. Canelo has more fights than anybody in this new generation, that's his age or younger. There's no 35-year-olds that have 70 fights like Canelo Alvarez, right? Those days are over, like Pacquiao's and stuff like that, where they got all these fights and Chavez Sr. and things like that. Nobody has that many fights. The game is different. You got Crawford, who since 2020 has pretty much been fighting one time a year. The game's different. You can make more money, blah, blah, blah. But Canelo got almost 70 fights. So who has Crawford faced that not only has 70 fights, but in 70 fights, they only have 2 losses, right, on paper. And in 70 fights, it's big fights, like face of boxing type of fights, big fights, million plus pay-per-view fights. That experience alone trumps anybody that Crawford has ever fought. Even Errol Spence. Errol Spence never did the volume of pay-per-view buys that Canelo has done. He had never done the biggest fights like Canelo has done. And for me, the Bud Buddies, they're so nonsensical. They're going to say, oh, you love Canelo and all this emotional ridden stuff. Last week, a month ago, y'all said I hated Canelo. I'm just keeping it real and keeping it fair to what you're saying. So to me, I thought this was a poor interview. And it doesn't really celebrate and build the fight. It's just a bunch of cussing, and the questions aren't even really being answered with any level of like poise or breakdown. Like, I want to hear real boxing talk, not just like, oh, that ish don't matter. No, muff, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really saying anything. You're just like cussing and talking about how blood go upside people's head and none of that ish matter. Canelo should have sparred a cab driver. Like, I want to hear real boxing dialogue. I think that's what's missing in the game. I know I do it beautifully because I'm the best in the business and it's not even close. I'm having a real conversation. This video right now has been over 15 minutes. I haven't paused one time. This is one take, no cuts, no editing, straight to you. I haven't made one mistake. You're hearing me. My audio is good. My production is great. You're hearing me loud and clearly. And I'm talking all boxing. I'm not talking about people's mamas and their family and this, that. I'm not doing a bunch of cussing. We need to get back to where people can have an actual dialogue. Like, you could pick Lennox Lewis. You could pick Mike Tyson. But just qualify your statement. Why are you picking Lennox? Why are you picking Mike? You know, now we live in social media times where it's just like, oh, you're stupid. Oh, you're a hater because you have an opinion.
Hello, right? And he's also got Eddie Reynoso and concerns about things like that with Eddie Reynoso.
No, because Vada was in place for this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that makes the production go down on top of the Clippers and the wrong mic and the wrong setup, they got the barbershop is playing music. So just look at, for a fight this big, HBO would never, Showtime would never. Like, just if I'm lying, I'm flying. Go back and watch Canelo versus Mayweather, Showtime, and go watch the All Access and the interviews and the production. They got high quality stuff. They got people who know and teams who know what they're doing. So like, hey, we got to kill that music, because what's the point of an interview if you can't hear it, or you can't hear it good, or it's distorted, or the levels are bad, right? So at best, sometimes environments you can't control. Like, sometimes I go to a weigh-in and the DJ's playing music. I can't go up to the DJ booth and be like, hey, stop the music. He's part of the event. He's getting paid. He's doing his job. But with today's technology, there are ways to post-process and edit to bring up levels and have the right equipment to begin with. So that's not a thing. But anyway, Bomax talking about he's not worried about Canelo juicing. A lot of Bud buddies, they keep saying, oh, Canelo's a cheater, he's a juicer. But Crawford's own team, they're saying they don't even care because Vada will catch him if he's doing something. So that's another, like, narrative that's out there. I mean, Canelo absolutely failed a PED test in the past. We know that. This was some odd years ago in front of the Triple G rematch. But the Bud buddies keep bringing that up specifically, and Crawford's team saying none of it's going to help him. We don't care because Vada is doing their job and Bud's going to whoop their butt. He's going to whoop Canelo. So it's like, what are we talking about? And then as far as the Boots sparring, for me, it just feels like a different level of panic. It looks like a level of panic. That's why I said, for me, that's why I keep my circle small like a Cheerio. I wouldn't want these people on my team because I wouldn't want you making my brand look bad if I was the breadwinner, right? Where his team, like Bernie said, Boots is a sellout. Bomax like, man, we don't care. And he's like, it's just like real rah, aggressive energy. It's sparring. Crawford sparring who he's sparring. Best of luck to him. Canelo sparring who he's sparring. But this Boots sparring particularly seems to have captivated audiences. Canelo fans and in-betweeners who don't really have a side, they seem like, oh, that's a good look. Cool. The only people that are truly seeming like outraged and apparently angry are the Bud buddies. They seem like negative, like super negative. Like, and I feel like as a man, that's not needed. Like, you don't have to be triggered. Like, for example, if you're real and you're beefing with another rapper, like, I'll give you an example. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti, Murder Inc., Ja Rule, all them was beefing with 50 Cent. But Irv has an interview before he passed, and he talked about when 50 dropped In the Club. You can find me in the club, $5 dubs, and I ain't needing. Go shawty, it's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday. Something special. Irv depicted when 50 dropped that, and you hear the Dr. Dre beat and the chorus. It was a great song that he knew was gonna be like, whoa, that's a smash hit. I can respect a person like that, even though this is your foe. You guys don't see eye to eye. Irv having a musical ear and being, someone in the industry and involved with hip hop, he was still real enough to express that, damn, 50 got one. He got a banger, right? I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's part of being a man. Like, even if it's your worst enemy, if they got a banger, they got a banger. You know what I mean? So, respect to Irv Gotti. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti. I liked hearing that interview where he's acknowledging that 50 Cent had a banger. When he first heard it, he was just like, whoa, we got to do something. This is crazy. Your op came out with a smash hit, because I grew up in this era. So I was in the club when the song In the Club came out, and it was lit, bro. In the Bay Area, it was smacking, bro. We were wilding. That was a big song. And 50 a New York dude, and I'm on the West Coast. I'm on the West Side, right? So it was big over here. So I know it had to be big on the East Coast and other places. It was just a smash hit. You got to give credit where credit's due. But Boots, he's sparring with Canelo. Buzz team, they keep making it, oh, we don't care. He's still going to get whooped. He should have sparred a cab driver. Oh, he a sellout. Like, it just seemed like overly sensitive. If you don't really care and it's not going to matter, you should be stoic. That's how I feel. I would just be stoic. Like, he's sparring Boots. Well, okay. Let him spar Boots. Watch what happened in September. So the more your blood level is raised and the more like you seem like aggy and frustrated and annoyed by it, the more I feel like it affects you. It's like you see people in my position, like online personalities or something, and they're like, oh, I don't care. I'm unbothered. The best way to look unbothered is to not be bothered by it and not keep talking about it. So I just find it weird that this Canelo Boots thing seems to be so like controversial. And then, like I said in my last video, you got people who are saying Boots is tearing off and destroying Canelo and making him quit in 3 rounds. So the Boots sparring is not going to matter, or he's destroying Canelo. You can't have it both ways. Either they're like, oh, Boots ain't Crawford. Boots suck. Boots ain't this. Boots is unproven. He's nothing like Crawford. This won't help. You should have sparred a cab driver. But then the other buddies are saying that Boots is destroying Canelo, giving him black eyes in sparring. So that's what I'm saying. It just looks bad. Which one is it? He's destroying Canelo in 3 rounds, making Canelo quit, and Canelo's in trouble because of what's happening in sparring? Or Boots is not that good and he's not relevant and he can't give the look of a Bud Crawford. It's like all over the place. So to me, that equals fear. Only fear makes people do this. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the Cash Apps. Shout out to the Super Chats, the Super Thanks. I just gave y'all a complete video. Really no cussing. I'm the man, bro. Just deal with it. I'm him.